Marcya Cain is the co-founder of Beyond Defense, a family-run business created alongside her daughters to empower women, especially women of color, with self-defense tools, education, and a fierce sense of confidence. What began as a personal mission has grown into a powerful movement, gaining widespread attention after one of their videos went viral. Through Beyond Defense, Marcya is changing the narrative around safety and empowerment, showing women that they don't have to live in fear. They can live in strength. Ladies and gentlemen, Marcya Cain. Marcya, thank you so much for joining me today. I want us to start at the beginning. How did Beyond Defense come to be in existence?
I've told the story a dozen times, but my youngest daughter, I have 3 adult daughters, but my youngest daughter, she showed me a picture of some self-defense items, and she said, I think I'm gonna start selling these. And I was like, as mothers do, I was like, I think that's a good idea. We should do it. So I voluntold her that I was gonna start the business with her. And that was in early 2019. Because I have 3 adult daughters, the other 2 daughters was like, well, we don't want to be left out. So it became a family involvement entity, and we spent a lot of time at the beginning just looking at what kind of weapons we wanted to sell, what would be best for women. We bought, research and development, right? So we bought the weapons, and then we practiced and we tested, and we're like, okay, we're going to go with these 5. And so our actual launch date for Beyond Defense LLC was April 1st, 2019.
Wow, that's amazing. What was going through your mind when she first said she wanted to sell them? Like, what was your mindset? Yeah, you said, yeah, well, I'll join you. But right. What was your mindset when she said, this is what I want to do?
I tell you very honestly, I've been wanting to be in business. I wanted to own my own business for decades. I went back to college and I was trying to figure out how I was going to be my own business owner. And I was like, God, did I have to have this baby tell me what it was that I was supposed to do? Because safety and self-defense is something that is really ingrained in me. I've been doing it for 20 years, like as mom, as auntie, as a member of various and sundry organizations, domestic violence and education organizations and so forth. And it just was like light bulb moment. I should have been doing this, but sometimes someone else has to give you some information and say, okay, because we need to, as women, make sure that we know how to protect ourselves in several different ways, and weapons is inclusive of that.
It is, very much so. So you're not just a business founder, you're a mom. What was it like when you started setting up and actually launching the business with your daughters?
So we fortunately have a really good relationship. So honesty, and I know a lot of times you don't hear that when family businesses get together. People are arguing and fighting, and but we listen to each other. And I would like to take a full for that. Like, I would like to say I have been the person to help them cultivate how to be honest with each other, how to be forthright with each other. So if someone had an idea or didn't agree with something, there wasn't a bunch of fighting. Like, wow. State your case. Like, what should we be doing? It took us a while to come up with the name. Like, the weapons were easy, but the name was hard. So so we had lots of meetings. We would have weekly meetings and talk about what the product was going to look like, how we were going to package it, what we were going to say. So we had a lot of those conversations. I will tell you that all the stuff that we did at the beginning didn't really prepare us for everything, because we didn't really know what we were doing. Like, I have a business degree, but that business degree at that time was 20 years old, and so much had changed, and it's still changing.
Right, especially marketing.
Right.
It's a whole new world.
It is a whole new world. But we were able to really communicate and come up with something that we all agreed upon that would be helpful to keep women protected.
What were the early days of setting up the business like? Did it take off the way you had anticipated? Was it slower to begin with? What was the beginning stage process?
So when we decided, like once we did the launch and said that we were going to start selling it, we all decided we were just going to start selling here in the Triad. So we were just going to put it on our Facebooks and put it on our social media and like, we have this product and see how it worked from there. Like see who was interested, and then like we had all put in a certain amount of money, and that was what we were going to put towards the product. And then once we saw how people were purchasing it, then we would invest that money back. And then we went viral. And then we went viral. And then we went viral. So we went viral 3 times in like, I'm going to say 6 months, but it was really probably less than that. So we were viral on 3 different social media. So my beautiful grandson was born in May of 2019. And just a few days before he was born, my same baby, I call her baby, because she's the youngest out of all the children. So she is his mom. She had put on her social media, the one formerly known as Twitter. She said, she said, I know I don't have a lot of followers, but if you would follow my business, she had 6 followers on Twitter. And then I'm in the room while she's giving birth, and her phone is going beep, 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 beep. I said, girl, what is going on? She said, Mama, we're going viral on Twitter.
Wow.
So while my baby is being born, my grandbaby, but he's mine. But while the baby is being born, the birth of the Beyond Defense is being born too, because at that time there was a couple of really big items on social media about people being trafficked. And in the right person or persons saw that and started pushing it out. So we went from, we're just going to sell things locally and we'll come and meet you at the grocery store with the little bag, to,
Wow.
And, called the person, our point of contact at our, where we purchased all that stuff was the baby, but our supplier. So, made a phone call with him, and I said, I need $1 million, which is a little bit less than $1 million, but we need this. And he was like, what's going on? I was like, we don't know what's going on, but we need the product.
Right.
And so it started much faster than we thought it was, to answer the question, right? But then we learned pretty quickly on some of the things we needed. Like we learned because of that, we needed a website so that people could order, because we didn't have one. We needed to be able to have them pay on the website, because we didn't, you're not sending me checks or cash apps or whatever. So we really learned very quickly what we needed to do to present ourselves as a bigger business.
Wow. That had to have been a tremendous change, very rapid. I can't imagine you're selling just a few bits and bobs here and there on your social media to, hey, we need all of them right now.
Right. It was surreal, and it's still, thinking about it, is super surreal, because what happened is, I don't think that we even sold anything locally. It just went viral so fast. Wow. So when we're looking at how to procure it, how to get it, how to purchase it, how to get it shipped to us. And I will say it was about 6 months, because what happened was 2019 goes into 2020, and we remember in March of 2020, everything just kind of went. So we're trying to, we had huge orders that we finally got out about Christmas time, I remember. So they were purchasing. We had some on hand, and then we're able to get some quickly, and then still keep having orders come in. And so we had this huge, it was 500 orders that we sent out at Christmas time, around that time, November, December. And then there's still orders coming in. And so we are talking to our supplier and can we get this? Because remember, with COVID, they were going to stop. The supply chain was going to freeze, and so we didn't know what to order. Is it still going to keep going up? And so there's that kind of being a new I liken us to my grandbaby because we were kind of birthed at the same time. Wow. So like we're a newborn, right? So how do we decide what to order and how much to order and where to get it? So it was a lot to absorb. I think we did a pretty good job, you know, right. Not really knowing what we were doing to start, but that's where we were, like just trying to figure out how to help keep women safe, because that's the bottom line. Like, how can we empower women and keep them safe, get them the tools that they need, and quickly, because they need them quickly.
Right. So because of your viral videos, you've been on TV several times. Did you ever expect, when you were a comedian or when you were working other jobs, did you ever expect that you would be a spokesperson for your own business like that?
I had hoped, right? And you snuck that in there because, like, your listeners don't know I used to be a comic. I used to be a comic, but but I had hoped, right? Like I said, for years I thought, what kind of business can I be in? Like, I really felt like it was important for me to have my own business and kind of structure it in a way where I could help people. And thankfully, I found this lane, which is just an easy lane for me to be in because I've been doing it for so long. So I'd hoped that I would be able to be like the spokesperson, the person that people could connect with so that I could help them do whatever the business was. And I was born with a microphone in my mouth. So this is an easy lane for me to be in.
Gotcha. So you mentioned that you had always, you went and got your business degree and you had always wanted to own your own business. What did you envision before Beyond Defense? What kind of business had you envisioned before?
So I initially went to school for journalism, like way back 168 years ago. So I went to school for journalism, and at that time, I thought I'd own my own magazine, like Rolling Stone, or then I thought education was important, so I thought I'd own my own school, run my own school, and those are just a couple of things that I remember. So there were, and then when I pivoted from journalism to business, there were a couple of things then that I thought I would get into. But as we said earlier about how things change in business and marketing and so forth, by the time I came up with, I think this would be a good idea, then people had already done it, and then it had faded out. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, that was a good idea, but then, as an example, I was like, I'm going to have an internet cafe. From the time I decided I was going to have an internet cafe to the time that I graduated, there wasn't any need for internet cafes anymore.
Right. Technology grows fast.
Right. So I was like, I still don't know what to do. So this is just perfect for me because I've transitioned from I've transitioned from selling just self-defense weapons to teaching self-defense classes. And that's the coup de grace. That's my favorite.
Gotcha. So along the lines of the defense classes and the fact that you sell personal defense items, what does self-defense and personal defense mean to you as a person?
Okay. Yeah. What it means to me as a person is being able to be in any space and knowing that I can confidently maneuver in that space, not be scared, not be afraid, and be able to protect myself in anything that presents itself. That's how I look at it.
So in some of your interviews, you've mentioned unsafe conditions for Black women. What message do you want your business to send out to women of color and women in general?
So, by and large, women are the predominant victims in sexual assault, in violence, just in general. Black and brown women their numbers are higher. And I think part of it is because they're marginalized communities, people who are going to negatively do something, assault, anything like that, they know that there's not going to be as much media attention on a black or brown person as it is on a white woman. So all women are in trouble, but black and brown women are in more trouble. So when I am teaching classes, I will make sure that I'm giving the statistics to help people understand what we're looking at as women, and also I look at the information that we get from the people who are perpetrating crimes. What do they think of as soft targets? What do they, who do they identify as someone who that they would be able to hurt? Like there's crimes of planning, and there's crimes of like, oh, there's just this moment right here. As an example, there was a young lady who, and she was black, but I don't think that it makes a difference in this particular scenario. But she was looking for a Lyft or an Uber. She gets in the car and she doesn't check it.
Oh my.
So when she gets in this vehicle that's not either of what she's looking for, she gets killed. That was a crime of opportunity.
Yeah.
Right? So we really need to be paying attention to the kinds of things that are happening outside so that we can prepare ourselves mentally on how to take care of ourselves if that happens to us, if we're faced with a threat.
I never would have thought, looking at it from the perpetrator's perspective, to find out who they're targeting, like what their thought process is. That's a big deal.
It is.
Because I just would assume, don't be alone at night if you can avoid it, that type of thing. I never would have thought of, they have certain things that they're looking for. You're right. Wow.
Yeah. There was a survey, and so the perpetrators, there was a survey that was done they asked, let me say it this way, they asked people who were already in jail what they look for in a victim. They showed some videos and so forth. And one of the things that sticks out in my head is that these people who are trying to hurt other people, they practice. They practice at least once a week.
Wow.
So if you think about someone who is, and big picture, like the people that are sex trafficking or human trafficking, the people that are picking up women off the street and locking them in their basement or in their homes or those things. Those are people that have like very specifically decided this is what I'm going to do and how am I going to get this person? I can't, what was his name?
Dahmer?
I think, no, because Dahmer is not somebody, but Bundy. Bundy practiced. He rused everybody. Oh, I can't get this in the back of my, can you help me find my dog? They are practicing what to say, who to target. So if they're practicing, I have to teach you guys how to practice too.
Right. And I was going to ask, how does education play into it? But that's exactly it. That's
right.
how education plays into it. What's something that most people don't understand, other than the fact that they're practicing, about what threats women face daily? What don't the general population know?
Okay. Because sometimes I think everybody knows it, but when I'm gonna put something in the lap of the men right now.
Okay.
What the general population doesn't know is that the men can protect women from other men, and all they have to do is speak up. When a woman is walking down the street and someone is whistling at her and catcalling, "Hey, mommy, you look so pretty today," tell your friend to stop. Because that escalates, and that puts women in a situation where they don't want to be in certain places. I have done market research, and the women are like, I don't want to do this, I don't go out after night. But the general population doesn't know that we live in a society in which assault against women is something that people think is okay. And the more people realize it's not okay, and it starts with small things like catcalling or, not being able to say no. If a woman says, "No, I don't want your number," just saying okay. Not getting like, now you got to call her out her name, and now you got to stalk her, and now you got to follow her to her car, and what's wrong with you, and you being like, stop doing that. And when you see your friends doing that, tell them it's not cool. Stop doing that.
Right. What would be the one thing you would want women to know about personal self-defense?
What would be the one thing?
The most important.
The most important thing is that you have to be prepared to save your own life. Because, especially in this time and age, because people will see you being assaulted and they are more likely to video you and record you than to assist you.
That is true.
So no matter where you are, you may see a bunch of men that look like The Rock, that look like they could come and save you, but they won't. And you have to be prepared to save your own life.
Very true. We're going to pivot back to business talk.
Okay.
So you're a team of 4 women. In my experience, getting more than 2 women together for a business is very challenging for a multitude of reasons. You guys each have a distinct role in the company. How did you guys decide who was going to do what, and how do you keep everything running smoothly?
Okay. So first I want to speak to the women thing, because women who are not related or birthed by the same person, we're not each other's competition.
Right.
So if we go into a space like that and say, okay, we're not each other's competition, we're here to elevate each other, we're here to do a job to the best of our ability, and the men already think that we don't know what we're doing, that we're not capable of doing it. So we really have to remember we are capable, and we got to show them fools out there that we can do it. So that's number one. Number 2 is I happened to birth these women, and I told them that. I told them that you are uniquely made by God, and you have these amazing gifts, and it was easy because I'm the spokesperson. I'm the mouthpiece. I have a daughter who is creative. She does our marketing. I have a daughter that's a genius. She does all the behind-the-scenes stuff that nobody else can figure out. And then my other daughter, she does all of, she is the one that is kind of picks up everything else. She does a little creativity. She does a little marketing. She does a little everything. And when someone says, hey, I want to try something else, we're like, cool, let's see what you got. And then we can do that. Now, at this point, 5 years into the game, I am primarily like the everyday person, and the girls, my business partners, I like to say business partners so people don't just think that they're just my kids, but my business partners, they are silent business partners. So they kind of come in every now and then, but I run the business wholly by myself now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm tired. Do you see the bags under my eyes? I'm tired.
I think all small business owners are always tired.
That's right.
I don't think that is unique to any of us.
Right.
What, along this journey, you started out bits and bobs on social media, then, oh my gosh, we're viral, we've got to get everything in place now, to now everything's kind of not plateaued, but mellowed out to where it's more even keel. What surprised you most about the journey from starting a business to where you are now? The part that surprised me the most is that I don't know what I don't know. Like how much I didn't know. Like how much I didn't know. Right.
So again, going to like creating, and my genius daughter, and I call them by adjectives, that is a safety thing too.
Really?
Like from when they were very little, I called them by adjectives because I didn't want anybody to know their name, because I didn't want anybody to show up and think that mama sent them. We had codes, but so like people are like, what are her daughter's names? Y'all ain't gonna know. It's on the website, but you know, they're grown now. They can protect themselves. But that
and well packed for defensive weapons.
But I noticed that because I've been doing it for so long, that's just kind of one of those safety things that I've been doing. But once we started learning all those pieces, then I went and got a certificate from Cornell for women's entrepreneurship because I needed to know more. And then I started working with the local chambers of commerce, and I have a business coach. I think that I think out of everything that I stated, I think having a business coach is paramount. Having someone who can show you what you've done that's good, how to get to the next level, and help challenge you to be able to understand has been paramount. I've had a good number of coaches. I have a coach right now, and she is amazing. But all of those things surprised me. Like, I thought, not that I knew everything, but I thought I knew something. I didn't know nothing. So it's been an amazing journey of education and putting myself in a position to better help women.
What's your favorite part of the business? What do you personally love to do within the business?
It's the teaching. It's having the class, having the conversations with women, and in class hearing this, that's good, that's right. And watching, because I teach in my classes, I teach like a classroom style. So I have like, they can take notes and so forth, and seeing that I am giving them information that can help protect their own life, that's my favorite part.
That's a good part to have. That's something that I've found is when you're looking at the perspective of a business where your true goal is to help somebody else, it makes a very big difference in the business as a whole, from how it's operated to how people perceive it. It's not, hey, I want to sell you things. It's, no, I want to help you.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing when it comes to being in business, I think.
I think, and what helped me pivot from just selling the weapons was I would tell people all the time, I can sell you a weapon, but the most important weapon that you have is between your ears. So let me help you get your mind ready. Let me help you empower you to be able to do these things. And that's a shift. So it's like a labor of love. I just have a great time having classes and teaching.
Have you gotten back a story from a customer after the fact, after they've left your class or after they've purchased their defense items? Have you gotten a story back from a customer that sticks out to you?
I don't have a particular story. I do have, lots of, what do you call them, testimonials from people like, thank you so much for what you're doing. I was able, I do have an associate, she's like, my daughter loves her kit. I've got moms buying kits for students in college. I've got those kind of things. I like, thank you so much for doing what you're doing. So those are the stories that I get.
About a lot of moms going, thank you for protecting my baby. Yeah, I can imagine those. If somebody else is looking to create a mission-driven business, like we were just talking about, what would your advice to them be?
So what they say is that things that come easy to you is your gift. That's hard for other people. So things that are easy to me, teaching, self-defense, just what is easy for you, and find a way to support yourself doing it. Because like you said, people go after certain businesses just because they are financially well-off businesses. And some people are driven by money, and that's perfectly fine, as long as what they're doing isn't hurting someone else. But find something that you really love to do, and then what's the other thing? I'm not, there's nothing new under the sun. The other thing they say is you find something that you love to do and you'll never work a day in your life. That's not my quote. But it's true, because I'm working all the time. And my daughters are like, Mom, you work all the time. And I'm like, am I? But it's fun to me. I have to kind of remember to take a little break and go, okay, this is work, so it can be a little mentally draining. So find a way to like relax. But it's fun to me. I taught a domestic violence education class to a group of 14 to 17-year-olds the other day. I was excited. Wow. I was so happy. I came up with a game for them. I was like, because 14 to 17-year-olds, they already have teachers going wah, 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 wah all day. So I was like, I'm not doing that to y'all. We're going to have an interactive time together so that there's going to be some things that you can take away from this. You'll remember, you'll be able to take to your groups of your friends. I was excited.
Yeah.
I said, who else is excited about teaching domestic violence education? We had a great time.
The people who love what they do, those are the ones. You're right. Absolutely. So we've talked about the sudden, oh my gosh, we got to do everything now, to now we're even keeled. What does success look like for you now and moving into the future?
Success looks like me being able to, I want Beyond Defense to be the self-defense company that people think of and recommend when they need something. I need a class. I want to bring someone in to teach at my church or my university. I need, someone says, oh, I need a pepper spray. Oh, Beyond the Fence. That's what success looks like to us, to me, for building the business side. But for me personally, the success looks like me being able to walk in a room, or what happens to me a lot, especially locally in the Triad, they'll see me come in and be like, oh, it's the weapons lady. So they know that I'm here to help them, empower them to be able to be protected to get home safely. So it's twofold.
Gotcha. The two questions that I love to end my interview on are, first, what book would you recommend to a person who's starting in their own business, or if there's a personal self-defense book, what book would you recommend that everybody would read?
I don't have a book.
You don't have a book.
That's crazy. I know. I know that's crazy. I mean, I could give off, a couple of personal development books, but you know what? I do have a book, the Bible. Because the Bible is full of information about how to be a better person and how to be good at business. People don't read it like that, but I have a coach, and his name is Myron Golden. So if you listen to Myron Golden, he'll show you in the Bible that God wants us to be successful, and there's business practices to do. So I would say that. And because I was reading all these personal development books, and they kept going back to scripture, and I said, I'm gonna just read the original.
Why read the
right? Because then I'd have to go back. Like, you tell me this scripture, and I'm gonna go to that scripture. So I was like, I'm gonna just read a book.
There you go. And finally, what piece of advice have you been given that was the best advice you've ever heard?
Oh man. What was the best advice I ever heard? I don't know that I have that. I probably should have thought of it before I got here. But I think that your gifts will make room for you, which is also from the Bible.
Your gifts will make room for you. I like it. Now, you brought some weapons with you. Would you like to show them?
Yeah.
And we will also put links to your website and all that stuff. Now that you have a website,
you see how I smile when I got
to share with our listeners and
I almost
watchers.
Forgot. So we do have a couple of things. So I'll start out with my pepper spray. It sprays 16 feet, and that's important because if you are trying to avoid being in a situation, you don't want to have to wait till a person comes right up on you. So you can spray that and then run. We sell all of our items, and we have 5 items. We sell it in a 5-item kit, and 4 out of 5 of them are designed to help you just get away from an attacker, right? Women most often don't want to be kung fu masters to be able to get home safely. So this is a great thing to think about. It's easy, it's cute. I have it in black and pink. And again, it's 16 feet, and it's capsaicin. So it's going to burn, and it's going to dye the face of the person. So if they get picked up by the police and they were like, no, it wasn't me, all we need is a black light.
It's written all over your face.
It's written all over your face, for sure. So then I have my stun gun taser. And this is, it has 3 different things that allow for safety. One is the flashlight, and I tell people to have that with them all the time when they're at night, because someone knows that you have something in your hand. A lot of times they'll think it's your phone, but they'll be surprised if they keep coming.
Right.
And then I don't know if you want me to set off the alarm or
I
no.
don't know. It'll
Okay.
probably peak our mics, so maybe not.
Okay. So it does have a alarm here. And then you can also, there's a button here I'm going to show red, so that's where the taser
So you
would go.
push the switch all the way up, and then you've got access
So red
to
is
taser.
dead, right? So, and remember, we sell non-lethal weapons that can be lethal, right? Like because not everybody wants to have a firearm, and not everybody's comfortable with it. So this is an option for them.
I am one of those people. I do not like firearms.
It's heavy, and you know, we're a 2A family. We just don't sell firearms because we understand that whatever a person is comfortable with carrying is comfortable for them. So this thing is my little cat keychain.
Adorable.
And it replaces when they told us to keep the keys in our hands, right? Because that hurts. And they've been telling us that for decades, and we still have the same problem, right? We still are being attacked in the street. So this is something I like to tell people. You want to get them in a soft spot, eyeballs, ears, your face is going to bleed a lot. That's going to stop them from coming, jugular, because again, we have to be prepared to save our own life.
Right.
And if it's them or me, it's always going to be me. So keep that in mind.
Right.
And then what else do I have in my handy dandy bag? I have a comb. I have it in pink and black. It is not a comb. I mean, it is, but it's
It
not.
is. But it's not.
So also remember, don't give them a chance to come back after you. If you're close enough to have to use this, you're going to stab and twist. Stab and twist, or stab and drag, because I just want you guys to get home safely. And, you know, there's my last piece here. I have it in my little package here. And this is our brass knuckles. This is for people who are comfortable with and throwing a punch. And it fits in women's hands as well as men's hands. So if you're comfortable with throwing a punch, then this is going to be the item for you. We sell everything separately, as well as in the 5-item and the 3-item kit. So you can get some for yourself. You can get them for your nieces and nephews and aunts and uncles and children at school. And those are items so that if that's a last resort, like I'm teaching situational awareness, I'm teaching how to identify a threat, I'm teaching how to avoid a threat, but we can't avoid everything.
Right.
So I tell people carry a weapon at all times, keep one in every room in your home, so that no matter what happens, you have an opportunity to protect yourself and save your own life.
Do you have a favorite weapon?
My taser is the favorite, just because it does 3 things, and a lot of women are, we're just shopping. I want to go and buy something, or go to, you know, drinks with my friends, go to the bar, go to the club. We're out at night. How can we get from the building to the car safely? And so that's helpful. You have the flashlight, and then the alarm. If someone means to do you harm, they don't want any attention. Once that alarm goes off, it's going to get people looking around. Is it a car? Is it whatever? And then if they still come, then you have that taser part. So that's my favorite one, because it helps you in 3 different ways.
Got you. Well, thank you very much, Marcya. I appreciate you coming in and talking to me today.
Thank you for letting me talk about my favorite thing.
Thank you. So I have to tell you what I did. So I usually have a very small pepper spray on my keys. I had the regular pepper spray, and I saw a small one, and I was like, I like this small one because it fits in my pocket. I don't like my pockets to be bulky. I like to have just my keys. So I bought the small one, gave my daughter the big one. She lost hers somewhere. So I gave her the big one. And when I bought it, I said, you know, this doesn't have a very good lock. This is not a good locking mechanism. And that was the first thing I said. I told Deanna that. I was like, it doesn't have a great lock on it. About 2 weeks later, I was sitting with my keys in my pocket at my table, and I felt like something was stabbing me in the leg. I was like, what the heck? And I thought maybe I just, I was sitting on my keys funny, so I adjusted and that didn't fix it. I took my keys out of my pocket and my pepper spray was going off in my pocket.
Oh, no.
I can tell you that pepper spray is a fabulous and fantastic defense because that stuff hurts.
Yes, yes.
It burned for 24 hours.
Oh, man.
I mean, I immediately, stripped
Right.
and, wiped it off and washed it off as best I could. I was like, oh God, don't touch your eyes, don't touch your
That's
face.
right.
And for 24 hours, I could feel that. And I was
Wow.
like, thank God that wasn't my face.
Right.
But now I know that is not a joke. Like,
It's a testimony.
It is definitely an effective weapon.
That's
because
right.
if I got sprayed in the face with that, I would immediately stop everything I was doing.
That's good. That's good because that's what we want. We want them to stop, and then we can book on out of there and get home.
Right.
Because one of the statistics that have stuck with me about safety and women being assaulted is that when a woman is raped or sexually assaulted, she very soon after wants to commit suicide, like within 7 days.
Really?
She wants to commit suicide. And the longer away from the attack, the less likely that she will try.
Mm-hmm.
But if we can stop women from being attacked, then we can stop them from wanting to take their own life or doing it. And then we can positively affect the families that they're connected to and the communities that they're connected to. So that's what I'm trying to do.
And it's so hard because those are ripple effects that you cannot measure. You
Right.
cannot put a number on that. You can't say, well, I know that I helped 12 family members
That's right.
because this person didn't get attacked. And
That's
it's
right.
so hard, especially when you're doing community service type work, that, there's so many ripple effects
Right.
that you can't measure. You can't put into numbers. So you can't say, hey, this is what I do. This is all the good that I've done because there's just
Yeah.
no way to measure it.
That's
'cause
why when
it's
you ask
immense.
me, like, is there something, like, I wish I could say that. And, sometimes we hear, like, this was happening and I was able to use this, but just thinking about how women are affected on a regular basis and how I can help shift, like 1% every time, if I can just shift, that's why I'm here.
Right. Makes a big difference.
Yeah.
That 1 little %.
Yeah.
Absolutely.